Hello everyone. Hi. Welcome to my channel. Alright, so today we're gonna talk about 5 reasons why I quit my job. Yes, I quit my job. And 5 reasons I have to do so. One of the reasons is my pay was good, but the job was really challenging. It was very hard. Even though I'm good at what I do, but I consider it hard. Standing, I work at a hotel. Well, I worked at a hotel, and like I said, I quit the job, so I don't work there anymore. And if you know what hotel work is like, then you understand the point I'm trying to make, that it's not easy. Because I have to stand on my legs or my feet for many hours and back and forth, serving guests, talking to guests, meeting guests. And I was a restaurant manager, so it was a challenging job and working long hours. If you are assigned to a restaurant, then you will have to stay, you have to held accountable for everything that goes on in that restaurant. Everything. If a staff is absent, you as the manager will have to fill that position. Yes. And so makes it even harder. And while doing that, you have to concentrate on other aspects such as planning, organizing, ensuring that the daily things are there to run the restaurant for that day. Some hotel has 9, 10, 11, 12 restaurant, and you have manager for one, manager for the other. So every restaurant or outlet will have a manager, a different manager. So all the job in one restaurant would be on that particular manager. So a lot, and you're there from 10 to 10 for the day, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., even 11 p.m. Because at the end of the day, you have to ensure that you close up the restaurant and everything is in order and prep for the following day. So you cannot leave the restaurant. And in addition to that, you have to make a report of what happened in the restaurant and how you're gonna and your plan for the upcoming day. And if there was let's say there's an issue in the restaurant, you will have to make sure that, let's say a guest have a complaint, something to do with the food coming out of the kitchen. It may take too long, or it wasn't tasty, or it wasn't what they asked for. It is you, the manager, have to ensure that the guest satisfaction is met. And so you have to rectify the issue. And even if you rectify the issue, you will have to make a log about what had happened and try to address it so as to avoid any um, other complaint from the guests, or any negative feedback from the guests, because they have TripAdvisor guest comment, where guests would go and comment about things that had happened. So you have to be so careful and mindful of what you do in your restaurant every day. My next point is the long hours. The long hours a manager works at a hotel. If you see me look down, I'm just looking at my jottings that I have, my pointers. So the long hours you have to work at a hotel as a manager. 10 to 10, 10 to 11, 10 to 12. And for all that period of time, you cannot sit until it's your break time. Or sometimes you will take a little run, like you go and look about something and you just take a break from the restaurant, but you only can do that if it's slow. If it's a busy season and your restaurant is one of those busy restaurants, for example, you know that guests love tapanaki, like the Japanese restaurant, so they would have reservation, and then you have to be there in that reservation restaurant is always busy because you have to keep turning over table from time to time. Let's say within a half an hour you have to turn over the table to accommodate the other guests that maybe um, have have a reservation for the next 30 minutes. So it's kind of challenging, but don't get me wrong. Sorry, something on my lip. Don't get me wrong though. Hotel is mainly hotel is a nice place to work, but it is mainly for young people who are flexible and vibrant, you know, because the hotel job, it is demanding, and flexibility is a must. You have to be up, full of energy and about. So it is mostly for young people. If you're in your 40s or your 50 and you're just gonna work in the hotel industry, it's not gonna work for you. It's not gonna work for you. I'm telling you that, because even young people in there having challenge, standing on their feet, going back and forth, back and forth. When I just started in my early 20s, I'm telling you that I used to have pain in my feet for like 1 week. But because my feet didn't get used to it, but as soon as it gets used to that back and forth and going and coming, because you have to move from the kitchen to the dining room with food, you have to move, clear the table, you have to get drink off the bar at the bar, and you've been doing this for 8 hours, back and forth, back and forth. Can you imagine? 8 hours minus 1 hour, because you get an hour for lunch, half an hour, and then half an hour again for lunch. So 7 hours on your feet, back and forth. And when I say back and forth, I mean to the guest table and back to your workstation, or to the guest table, to the bar, back to the guest table. And sometimes, if it's a la carte restaurant, you have to serve them the food. If it's a buffet restaurant, it's a little bit easier because you only have to serve them the drink. If you're a server, you only have to serve them the drink, right? So I'm just saying that it is good. As a restaurant manager, it was good. The pay was good. The pay wasn't bad. But what was not good for me is the long hours. It's like you have no time for yourself at all. That's how dedicated you have to be. And it's all about the guests. Now, sometimes you have to deal, as a restaurant manager, you have to deal with rude employees, rude team members. Rude, when I say rude, they can be very, very rude. And as a restaurant manager, you have to know how to deal with all those situations. You have the team member to deal with, you have the guests to deal with, at the same time you have the managing aspect of the restaurant to deal with. For example, if a staff calling out sick, you have to fill in that position. You have to make reports of any incident happening in the restaurant. You have to ensure guest satisfactions are met. All those responsibility is on the leader. And if there's a complaint, if there's an issue, if there's anything at all, or hazard, anything at all, it is the responsibility of the manager. Right, so that makes it even more challenging. And you have to know how to deal with those employees at time, because there are rules and regulations that we have to follow, right? So you have to know how to deal with them. You have to document them. If they do something, then you have to go by the policies and the procedure in order to document them. um, there's so much that I would love to share, but I don't want this video to be long and drawn out. I just want to get straight to the point. So I'm just touching on every little thing, to not to discourage anyone who is young and want to go and work in the hotel industry, because it is very good. It is very good. You get to even meet your best friend. Your best friend become your husband or your wife from different country. You have some guests who are loving and kind, and they do love people of the Caribbean. They do love black people. They do love just the warmth of customer service in this hotel industry. And so most of the time, some of them come to the hotel, they're trying to find a wife, trying to find a husband, you know and so, but um it is a good place to work. I am not going to say no, because I have been working in the hotel industry since 2007 up until 2020. Within COVID time, I was working at a hotel, and I quit my job. I decided not to go back after COVID, because when I was home and I get that rest, I even fall into panic, because it's like the body and the mind was just used to working, and because I have to stay home during COVID time, I have to stay home, and so because of that, it's like the body is asking the mind, why are you so quiet? Why are you not going back and forth? Why are you not serving the guests? And so it drew me right into panic, and I just quit the job, and I said, no, that's not for me. I'm not going back. When I think of everything that I was doing, and sometimes it happens so fast, it becomes a part of your life. You're not even sure, you don't even know that you're overworked and like you're doing so many things, because the body and the mind, it becomes so a part of you, until you think that, okay, this must happen. If this is not happening, then I cannot live and I cannot survive. So your job automatically becomes a part of you. You understand? And one of the other thing too, at hotel, you don't get holiday. Don't get holiday as your day off. They make sure that the holiday, if it's an holiday, it's not your day off. Everyone have to work on holidays. So Christmas, Boxing Days, New Year's Day, Ash Wednesday, Thanksgiving Day, all those days, Labor Day, all those days that are holidays, Easter, Good Friday, you don't get those days off. You will have to work on those holidays. Yeah. So I quit. I'm not telling anyone to quit their job. No, please don't. I am not telling anyone to quit their job. What I'm saying is that I quit my job because my body couldn't withstand those pressure anymore. Yeah, you may be wondering, oh, how old is she? Look at her, she's so young. But remember that I'm working in the hotel industry for a long time. Long time. And the last point is that in almost an every hotel, the guests come first. The guest is priority. No matter what is happening or what had happened in the restaurant that you're in charge of, It doesn't matter what the complaint is, the guest comes first. And so because of this, sometimes you come across some rude guests coming from different countries. Trust me, they can be rude, and they're gonna tell you the first thing that they pay how much money to come there. That's the first thing they're gonna tell you. And they're gonna tell you, I'm gonna report you. I'm gonna put in TripAdvisor. I'm gonna put this in guest comment. You know, and they'll complain, and they would look for you to compensate them or give them a candlelight dinner for two, or a family dinner for how many. You know, they really complain for all these things. So the simplest of things, I guess, will complain, and you will, as a manager, it is your responsibility to rectify that before it goes to guest service. Because if it goes to guest service, then the guest is gonna complain, and the guest is gonna say which restaurant they dined at what time. So you have to be so careful, so careful. And sometimes the job can become so pressuring, so pressuring. So a lot of people, they start off good, but after pressure start hitting, they have to quit. But I am just hoping that as time goes by, things will be different in the hospitality industry, especially hotels. And when I'm talking about hotels, I'm talking about five-star hotels, all inclusive hotels, those big hotels, huge hotels. The work can be really, really pressuring. Well, I can speak for myself that the fact that I'm living in the Caribbean, in Jamaica, to be exact, it's different here. In other countries, like in the state or in other big countries who, you know, accept tourism as one of their main source of income. Those big countries like Europe, um, America, Canada, England, all those countries were like first world countries. They can have like two managers to a restaurant, and so they will make the job easier. You know, that will make the job easier for them. But at hotels in Jamaica, it is totally different. But I'm not discouraging anyone. If you're young, go for it. But remember, one day you're gonna have to quit, because the bodies just cannot go any further. Sometimes you go in a hotel, you will hear people say, "Oh, I am working at this place for how many years," and so forth and so on. And when you look at them, they're really old. You wonder, how could they be working so long at one place for so long? Some people are different, and sometimes it's not like they really want to work there, but the work becomes a part of them, because like you just keep going. You understand me? So sometimes those things, you know, can drive you crazy and let you feel like, oh, you can't do nothing but this, and you're not good for doing anything but this. Sometimes you really want to go on your break, like you want a vacation, and you can't go. It's like they force you to take your vacation when it's slow season, like in September, October. Those are the time of the year is slow season. So you can have a hotel with 500 or 1,000 employees, and then you're gonna try to force all 1,000 employees to go and leave within that time, and then hire a part-time person. to do the work. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the hotel industry that a lot of people don't know, you know. But at the same time, when you need a job and you have to work, you just have to work. That's it. You gotta work. But I quit mine because I know better was coming someday. And sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. And sometimes you will find another job, but it's not as paying as the job that you were working in the hotel. But however, it is not that challenging. At least you can stop and scratch your foot, scratch your head. But when you're in a hotel, you better keep going. You want to go to the bathroom, you can't even go to the bathroom because there's a guest there to serve. And if that guest don't get service at like within 2 to 3 minutes, that guest is going to complain that the service was slow and how they take long to get their food and the staff wasn't smiling, and guests complain about the simplest of things. But sometimes I think the guests sometimes they forget that who people who are serving them, they're not robots. They're not robots. Oftentimes they forget that, you know. But if we want, they are Jamaica terms always saying that if you want good, your nose have to run. You have to sweat for it. So your nose will run, they mean that you're sick and you still have to work same way because you want something good to come out of it. Okay, so I thank you all so very much for watching my channel. Go ahead and subscribe and like the video. Alright, and see you next time around in my video. You have a good day. Bye bye.